Hey everybody, this is Crystal with Pure Photoshop Actions, and today I'm just going to show a really quick way to organize your actions into elements. Back when we started creating actions, it kind of happened without us planning on it going this far. Originally we created them for people that were taking our webinar, and they had asked whether or not we could put our workflow into a set of actions for them, so they didn't have to try to remember every single thing that we did. And you would have thought that up to that point we would have had what we did to our pictures into an action just because we did it so much. But we said sure, we went ahead and put them into an action set for those that took our webinar, and they all used Photoshop. And then when we announced the webinar, and we said that the set of actions came included, there was a few people who asked whether or not they'd be able to purchase the actions separately from the webinar. So Rachel and I were kind of like, sure, I mean, I guess that works. And so we set it up, and we just individually emailed out the actions when they were bought. And then we had some people ask whether or not it was possible for us to convert them to elements. And honestly, we never used elements. We didn't go into this planning to create pure Photoshop actions. It kind of just grew organically. And so when we were asked to put them into elements, we had to learn elements. We have a really strong understanding and foundation in Photoshop, so learning elements was really easy, but it was making the actions, which is a whole different ballgame. And so the pretties and the niceties when we created the elements actions weren't there on the first few sets, because when we created the sets, we created them strictly for Photoshop, and then elements, we made no promise that we'd be able to replicate them in elements. And so it wasn't until we came out with Just a Pinch and Pure Haze that those sets were created with the mindset that we were creating them to be compatible with both Elements and Photoshop. And you'll notice in those sets that when you get the PNGs, they've got the nice names, they've got all that, because we've been doing research. We have only been doing this for only exactly a year, and Elements for probably about 10 months of that year. And so it's definitely a learning curve for us, and so we're still trying to figure everything out. So we appreciate your patience and your understanding with that, and we love you guys so much. So one of our fans on our page shared a way that she has organized her actions, and it was like a light bulb moment for us, and we were thinking about how we would do this a few days ago, and then she mentioned how she did it, and then we figured we would just show a video tutorial on how to do that. So first, I just want to say, please, 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 please back up your actions. Before you do any of this, please make sure you have them backed up. You can go into your photo creations, and then photo effects, and this is where you will have all your actions. Just drag them to a folder on your desktop. Even other vendors' actions, either other companies, just make sure that they're all backed up. Because what we're going to ask you to do is to come into photo effects and delete all of your actions from us. Not any other vendor. I'm not asking you to do anybody else, only because we're going to have you drop in the renamed sets once you rename them. So what's going to happen is then at that point they're all going to be grouped together, because we're going to have you rename them pure photo, like PP set 1, PPA set 2, PPA black and white, PPA spring fever. So then everything, once you look into your once you're in Elements, they'll all be grouped together, and they won't be scattered around, and they'll be grouped by set. And so we are currently working on new PNGs for the first few sets that we did create that only have our logo, because like I said, we didn't go into this looking like we were, how do I explain this? We didn't go into it thinking that we were going to specialize in both Photoshop and Elements. So now that we are backtracking and trying to make things easier for all of you guys. So right now I've already deleted all of my actions only because I don't use Elements, and so I deleted everything out of there so then I could just drop in the new ones. Make sure you only delete ours. We can't be held responsible for other vendors' actions. So just make sure that you make sure you back things up, and it would be as easy as copying all these actions and dragging them to a folder on your desktop. Okay, and even ours, make sure you have backed up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come into where you have your zip folders. Like when you downloaded the actions, you got a zip folder, and then you would extract that folder, and that's where those actions would be. So I'm just going to, you can either go to the folder that's already extracted, or you can go to one that's still zipped up. So I'm going to come right here to set one, and I'm just going to extract them really fast. So right click, hit extract all, and then it's extracting those actions, and then it'll put just a normal folder for me here as soon as it's done. So it's almost done. Okay, so here it is right here, pure action set one, and it opened it up for me. Okay, so here are our set one actions. Okay, so I'm going to make that bigger, and for me I just want to view them bigger, like the actual icons right there, so I just came right up here and clicked medium icons. Okay, so what you have is they're already in alphabetical order, and so what we want you to do is you can't rename them all at one time, because then you're going to have one big massive name, and you're not going to have the name of the action. Remember that the PNG and the action have to be named exactly the same thing, or this will not work. They have to be the same thing, or else you're not going to have a PNG for that action. So what we suggest you do is we suggest you come into here. So you're going to select the two, because there is a PNG and an action for both. So you select the two, you right click, you hit rename, and whatever you do will affect these two. And since they're already the same name, I'm going to come to the front, and I'm going to write PPA set 1, okay, and then space. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that and Control C, so I copy that so I don't have to type it again. And then you just click out of here, and it renamed it. Where did it go? Right here, because it's going to put it into alphabetical order. So now I can come up here, right click, rename, come right to the beginning, and then put a space, and it named those two. Come right here, right click, rename, I'll put and then put that there, and there we go, it renamed those ones. So I'm just going to do this really fast, so you can see that it's not going to take very much time at all. And you can also hit enter when you're done renaming. Oh, I don't want to delete those. Sorry. Okay, rename. And then, see, make sure you don't select that third one, because that's not the same name. So, there we go. Rename. Enter. And then rename. Enter. Rename. Sorry, I'm just doing this so you can see legitimately like how long it'll take. It'll probably take me about a minute to do it. Rename. Rename. We're almost done. You can see them coming right here. Rename. Rename. Oh, we're almost done. Last one. See, and so really that took, just a couple minutes. And now they're all named PPA set 1. Oh, no. Oh, I missed one. Oh, I missed some. I wonder how that happened. And make sure you get them all, just because you want to make sure everything's grouped together. There There we go. That's the last one. And now we're, let me make sure, now we're really done. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to grab these, select all, copy, and then I'm going to come, I already have the photo effects up, but let me show you how I got there really fast. So I was in my local disk C, program data, Adobe, Photoshop Elements, 9, Photo Creations, Photo Effects. Then I'm just going to paste them right there. Control V it right there. And like I said, you'll notice here that these PNGs are just our logos, because again, at the beginning when we started doing this, like we were still learning elements. The actions were functional, but they weren't pretty. Like it wasn't like a pretty PNG like they are now. So what's going to happen is we're working on the new PNGs, but they're going to be named these. So if you don't rename your actions, the PNGs that you download, if you download the free upgrade, it's not going to correlate with that action, because the action is going to be named Come Out of the Shadows Baby, but our PNG, our updated PNG, is going to be named PPA Set 1 Come Out of the Shadows Baby. So you're gonna, if you're gonna want the upgraded PNG, you're going to need to do that. So then when we do release those PNGs, those updated ones, you'll just have to come in and select all the PNGs and delete them, like right click delete, and then just copy and paste the new ones in, and they'll fall right into place because they will be named PPA Set 1, PPA Set 2, Pure Haze, whatever. Okay, so let me do, I'm going to come and do one more set. So let's do set 2. Oh, I need to unzip that folder really fast. Okay, so it's almost done unzipping, and the PNG should be done in like a week or so. We're just with the sale and everything like that. We're just trying to catch our breath. So we're almost done with them. And so double click those, set 2. Alright, so here we go. We have set 2. So again, I'm going to come up here so I can see them, or you could even go large, whatever. Okay, so look, set 2, we got really pretty, we got prettier, and we gave you colored PNGs instead of the black and white ones. And you'll notice that the first set is actually, it was all based off of Pure Baby, because that was our original business name. Since we are at Pure Photography and Design, but like I said, this was all kind of based off of what we were doing as a business at the time, not going out to try to be action makers. So okay, so let's rename these, and you're going to do the same. You're going to go PPA Set 2, and then a space. And make sure when you copy and paste it, you copy that space there too, so then you don't have to continually hit the space bar. So we're going to hit Enter, and it renamed those. So let's go rename. Because if see how it automatically put that space? If you didn't copy that space when you copied the name, it wouldn't have put that space there. And you'd have to keep hitting it. And make sure you only rename the actual actions and the PNGs. Make sure you don't do it like this way, where you rename Urban Love and then you rename Time Warp, because that will do you no good. Rename. Snap. Oh, see, I keep wanting to be careful. If you have a pop-up, it's probably because you did something wrong, because to rename it, you're not going to get a pop-up. So just make sure you don't hit OK, because then you would be deleting actions. Okay, that's already named. Alright, so let's come up here and do some of these. Rename. Okay, we need to do it like this. Oh, come on. Okay, whatever. Let's do right here. Who's being a pill? Okay. Curly whites. Rename. Move that baby up. Rename. Increase contact. Rename. renamed. It looks like it, so let's do rename. Oh, my favorite action. Cloud9. Okay, rename. We're almost done. And then the cool thing is that once you rename these, the actions will again fall into alphabetical order because it's going to say PPA set 2, and then it's going to alphabetize it based off of the action. And set 1 should fall in front of set 2 once you put them into your action palette. Let's see. Okay, so let's... I think that we got everything. Okay, just double check. Alright, so copy. So select them all. Control C to copy. Come over to our photo effects. And we'll just Control V them and drop them in. Okay. So you'll see that it did automatically, like, because it'll alphabetize it, so it fell right into there. So right after set 1, you got set 2 coming in. And look, I mean, you can, right now you can tell the difference between set 1 and set 2 because set 1 is black and white and the set 2 is colored. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring up Photoshop Elements 9. And I'm going to have to rebuild the database because I've like changed the actions that are in the photo effects. I'm going to have to rename it. So I'm going to click Edit. And let's see if it brings it up. Because I didn't have any actions in there before, I don't think it will, but let's see. Okay. Let's go over here. My computer is like crawling. Oh my goodness. Yep, see, so it has the way it was before because I deleted everything and it's all mixed in. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to close elements. Okay, and then I need to come into here. So I'm going to back up again. So you're going to go to Program Data. I'm going to go to Adobe. Going to go to Photoshop Elements. Going to go to 9. Okay, and this is the first one that I'm going to rename. I'm just going to put 1. And then I'm done renaming that one. So you're going to rename the thumb database, and you just put a 1 there. And then you're going to come to Locale and NUS, and I'm going to rename the media database one. Rename, and I'm just going to put a 1 there. Alright, so now I've renamed those. So now when I open up Elements, it's going to rebuild that database. So it's going to basically look at all the changes that have been done. So let's see. So you can see, and it'll take a while. Like the rebuilding, if you leave it alone and let it do what it's supposed to do, it can take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes depending on your computer and depending on how much it has to rebuild. So like honestly, like there's no way like it's going to rebuild fast. And it's going to look like it's freezing. It's going to look like it's not loading. Do you see what it's doing right here? Like I can't do anything in Photoshop Elements. It'll take a long time. So don't freak out. Like don't say, oh my gosh, it's like Elements is frozen, so I come up here and X out of it, or Control Alt Delete to bring up the panel to close the program, because it's doing what it's got to do. And it may very well sit there for 30 minutes. I'm going to let it rebuild. I'm going to pause this recording because heaven knows, like, as much as I love talking, I don't know what I can talk about for 30 minutes. So I'm going to pause this, and then once it's done, I will show you what it did. So this is what it will look like while it's rebuilding. Okay? Cool. Okay, so it's been I think like a few minutes, and it's still going. So I just wanted to pop back in and say, look, it's still going. It's taking forever, but it is doing what it needs to do. So it's been at least, I think, 5 to on the long end 10 minutes, but it's been at least 5 minutes, if not closer to 10. So just wanted to let you guys know. So let's look. Right now it's 10:20, and it's already been going for at least 5 minutes. So I'll look at the time once it's done. So okay, pause. Okay, so it finished. Yay! Okay, so you will see that it finished at 10:43. Okay, so it took my computer about 35 minutes to rebuild the database. So we get emails sometimes where, you know, we tell somebody that they need to rebuild the database, and then they email back like 4 or 5 minutes later saying, okay, that didn't work. But this is why we're saying that there's no way that the database could have properly rebuilt itself in that short amount of time, in that 4 or 5 minutes, because it took my computer 35 minutes to rebuild. So here we have over here our effects. So if we scroll down, it goes through all the stuff that comes with Photoshop Elements. And there we go. There we have it right here. So we have set 1. And like I said, we're working on the new PNGs. But here are all the set 1. And then down here, we have all set 2. So yeah, it'll take even longer than what this took if you have like the everything pure set and you drop them all in at the same time. Just know that. Like, I would expect it to take even upwards of an hour. You know, if you are dropping all your actions in, like every single set that you own, the less rebuilding it has to do, the less time it will take, and the more actions you put in, the longer it'll take. But look at that, like, it's all pretty now. Like, you have all your actions in one place. So yeah, so again, with the, you know, you'll come in here and you'll go deep and rich. You'll put PPA deep and rich. And then here you'll PPA just a pinch when you name them. And so let me show you that one really fast. We'll just show that. It's extracting. Let's see. Sorry if you hear Yo Gabba Gabba on. My daughter woke up while it was rebuilding from her nap. Say hi, Tammy's. So, can you say hi? That's funny, huh? Okay, so here's just a pinch, and then again, you'll just come in here and rename them. So, rename. I'll put PPA just a pinch and space, and then copy it and make sure that that little space is there at the end. Hit Control C. So then all you have to do, and actually looking at it like this, it may be easier to do. And you see how it added the space. So, and then again, see, and so now it's renaming all that. So it'll just, and then you'll just drop those in, just like you did set 1, set 2. Drop in. I would do a couple at a time, unless you want to do all of them at once, and just know that it's going to take a long time for it to rebuild. So then when we create these PNGs for you guys, they're going to be named just like this. These PNGs right here. It's going to say PPA just a pinch of aloe vera. Some of these sets obviously don't need to be renamed. Because some of the PNGs don't need to be redone because they're already all pretty. I think the Pure Haze and the Just a Pinch set, there was no problem with it. Hold on. See, it says a pinch of aloe vera. So, like, it'll work perfect if you do that. So, let's see, upgraded elements. No, I need to go to Just a Pinch. Yep, and then like this one, pinch of anti-haze, you know, and so, yeah, so those ones we're not going to have the upgrades for those because that's just what they are already. and I believe and I know that the Pure Haze set is like that too. So you're gonna need to rename your actions if you download the free upgrade for the PNGs, just because the PNGs will be named after that. So, all right, so that is everything. All right, thanks, guys.